There are a lot of benefits to living out in the country. I will say one major disadvantage is cell phone reception. There's nothing more frustrating than having to go outside to try to catch a signal or just not having a phone altogether. Is there anything we can do? Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And you saw our dilemma, and today we're gonna fix it. But enough talking about what we're gonna do. Let's get right into this review. Here is our HiBoost Hero, and as you can see, it's a cell signal booster. So what you have is an exterior antenna, and you have to connect wires to that antenna to an interior antenna, and it's supposed to provide you that extra cell phone boost or cell signal boost inside your house. This particular unit says that it can cover up to 3,000 square feet, which is like a typical person's house. It supports a wide variety of different bands, and it's supposed to work on all major carriers. I was looking at this on Amazon, and as per this review video, there was 4.4 out of 5-star rating with more than 1,200 reviews. This product retails for right around $370. It was sent to me for review, so let's do an official unboxing. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. One thing I did not see as I was unboxing this is I didn't see any directions. Good news is I've worked with these types of things in the past, so I really know what to do. Good for me, and hopefully good for you if you're watching this video. If we are looking at the different pieces that came with this kit, first thing I noticed was this single directional antenna, meaning you have to point your antenna here at the cell phone signal antenna itself. I used some of these before. They have like an omni antenna, which is more like a flat panel, and that will catch up a lot of different signals, but this one you have to point directly at the tower where your cell signal is coming from. Of course, we have wires that will connect your exterior antenna to your interior antenna or interior booster. We have power supplies, mounting hardware. There's a sticky pad that is used for mounting. There's an antenna here, and of course, there's another internal antenna. I think you can have two different options there. I will say when I first unboxed this part, which is like the receiver that boosts your signal, this thing feels heavy duty. I do like that there's somewhat of a digital screen here. Not to mention, if you don't have the directions, one side actually says indoor, so this goes to your indoor antenna, and the other side, well, that says outdoor, and of course that goes to your outside antenna. It's important to note that the antenna does have an up and a down. You can see by this arrow, and of course down here at the bottom, looks like some drain holes just in case you do get rain or water inside. I took the included protective caps off, and this really just goes together and starts tightening. You just start tightening down here, and it makes a really nice firm connection. I do appreciate that. I'm going to show you real quick how to mount this to a pole. First thing I'm going to do is remove these two screws from the back because that actually goes into the bracket hardware that came with the unit. Once the screws are removed, we're actually going to put the wire through the hole in the hardware and spin it around to these holes line up with where the holes were on the actual unit. Now I'm just going to put the screws back in. I ended up flipping the hardware around because there wasn't enough clearance between this ring that's already drilled into the metal hardware and, well, the wire. So I flipped it around so now there's enough space. Also make sure you have all the components of your bolt hooked in correctly. All right, so this next part, well, I should also say technically you should probably peel off the blue sticker cover here. I'm not going to do that just yet. But the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the holes here. I'm going to set my pole in place and put my ring through. I'll show you what that looks like. You can see the pole there. What I'm going to do now is I'll stick the ring through the hole, line it up on both sides. So that's what's really tightening around. And now I'm going to put my bolts on the other side to tighten it in. All right, now that I have that one on and it's loose, I'm going to put the other bracket on and screw it in just like I did the other side. That way this is held tight to the pole. I should say when I first put this on, I only hand tighten it. Therefore, if I need to turn it on the pole, I can because I want to make sure I line this up with my satellite. Let's go put this outside and start running some wires. So tell me, what are your thoughts about these cell phone boosters? Have you tried them before? You're looking into it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. There are a few different apps out there where you can find your local cell phone tower. I'm actually using the app from a company that I've installed their boosters before, and all you do is you turn the app on, make sure your location on is just start turning, and once you get lined up with your arrow, that's where you face your antenna. Face it in the direction that the app is telling you, and then go from there. Just a tip, sometimes the app is wrong. I've actually faced my antenna the opposite direction before on a different install, and it worked even better than where the app told me, so it just goes to show, try lots of different directions. Although I'm not going to walk you through my entire install, I am going to show you what I'm doing just so you have a point of reference. Maybe it's something you could do too. So I had to buy this bar to screw into the side of my house just so I can hook the antenna to. Let me get a closer look. Here's that bar that I was talking about. I actually bought one of these molding pieces. I think it was like $12. It actually goes on the outside of your siding and screws in, but it makes it look like it was there already, and then I can install the bar. If these are things that would interest you, I will link them down below. With the wire coming down, I'm actually gonna push it in behind this corner molding here, just so you don't see it all the way down, and it tucks it in nice and neat. After I ran the wire into the corner molding, I actually started running it across the base of the siding here. I was going to try to run it underneath just so you didn't see it, but I thought, well, you know what? This is behind some bushes. I'll just clamp it in place. The fasteners I use are just these J shapes. They're made out of metal and you screw them right in. You can see that I have one installed right there, and all you do is you put the wire up in the channel and then you push up this metal. Now that wire is locked into place. In my opinion, if you just take some time, it makes the install look very professional. I actually located my access point from the inside because I wanted to screw it in through the base molding, and so I drilled from the inside out, ran my wire in, but I made sure to have one of these bushings here, and then what I do is I just silicone behind the bushing, push it in so it creates a seal, and then I'm gonna put some silicone inside the hole as well. You can see the direction that I have this antenna, and I actually found that to be the best signal for me. I've used an app to locate all the different antennas, and there's quite a few, like 3 or 4. And so I did check all of them. So I took the time to spin this around the pole at each direction, and then I also made sure to run a speed test. It did take some time, but this angle for me, I found the best signal for my cell phone reception. Now for the moment of truth. So the coaxial that came in through the house, right now I just have a hole in the trim. I haven't done anything fancy except for silicone it, but man, I sure hope this was all worthwhile. Let's plug it in and see what happens. All right, pops up, cool, 700 megahertz. That's a frequency I'll be using along with 850. So we'll see what those two show after it cycles through. Each cell phone company comes in on a different frequency, so I did look at that. I had a little bit outside and a lot coming inside. That's important because mine operates off of 700 and 850. So look at the boost that's coming in. Outdoor, maybe nothing, to indoor, something. I did not target the higher frequencies here, but you might have to on your install. But here, the proof comes down to the actual phone usage. Let's do a quick speed test. First and foremost, I apologize for how dark it is. It's the only way I can get the speed test to show without being an extreme reflection. Now on the right, you see we're going to test it with the booster on, and the left is without. Here goes nothing. All right, do you see that immediate difference? With the booster on, you're actually getting some data download versus the booster off, not so much. It's not a huge amount that you're getting, but it's a lot more than you were getting at the beginning. Now even checking the upload speed, before it was barely even measuring on the radar. Now you're at least 1.5, so it is a lot better. In this video, we were taking a look at the HiBoost Hero. So what did I think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. It ranges anywhere from $360 all the way up to $400, depending on the color that you choose for your system. In my opinion, that is on the higher end, but then again, if you go from having no cell phone reception to now having cell phone reception, that to me is a price well paid. If we look strictly at the installation, it was pretty easy and cut and dry. You almost couldn't make a mistake, and I do appreciate that they had different size connectors for different parts, and also things were very well labeled, so you really couldn't make a mistake. I really wish that there was some sort of an app that came with this that I could find my cell phone towers in the area. I was able to locate another app and use that, and maybe that would have been in the directions that I didn't get with my unit, but that would have made this a whole lot more convenient if there was a HiBoost app that went with this product. In the end, the proof is in the service, and I'm talking cell phone service. Did it work? Well, outside I could get a signal, inside not so much. Once I hooked up the HiBoost receiver, pointed it at the antenna, it brought me cell phone service inside the house, where before I couldn't make calls or calls would be dropped frequently. Now I can just sit there and have a call. That's pretty cool. I do appreciate having the increased cell phone signal because now I'm not dependent on the internet service to make a phone call. One other thing I noted that was kind of strange was the size of the coaxial with the HiBoost system is actually smaller than a typical coaxial cable. I actually already have some of these cables run through the house, so I thought this was going to be a quick and easy setup just using my existing cables, except no, you have to use their size because the connections are a little bit smaller. In my opinion, it would have been more convenient having a standard size coaxial cable, but in the end, it worked anyway. That was my full review of the HiBoost Hero. If you're interested in any of the items that I used within this video, I will link them down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I wanted to talk about the two different antennas that you receive with your unit. This antenna right here is really just for a more localized boost. Pretty much think of it as this is going to boost one room, whereas the bigger antenna, when it gets hooked up and hung up on the wall, it can broadcast the signal through a wider range of area. The company says up to 3,000 square feet. My house is not that big and I didn't get to test that much of an area, but 1,000 square foot, yes, it did work for me, at least providing some signal across that much of an area on the lower level of my house. So if you're wanting to cast a wider band, you use this antenna, but then knowing this has to be hung up on the wall, whereas the other antenna can be hidden behind something just on the unit itself. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the HiBoost antenna install. You know what? It actually reminded me of the last time I did one of these. I actually installed a HiBoost, and that's the app that I ended up using to find my tower. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link that review right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.